And Monday Night Lights continue on Chair League. Week 5, we've got a thrilling match starting up between the Leftovers on the blue team and the Bumbling Bees on the red team. Starting out on Sky Temple, we've got a pair of very quick bans from each team. We've got Falstad taken off the table by the Leftovers and Kelthus removed by the Bumbling Bees. Both very high damaging heroes, no huge surprises there, and the Leftovers keeping the focus on just straight up damage. We see them select Li Ming. Very strong hero for invading the points if they're occupied by the other team. You can just throw damage in from just outside of vision and really punish tight groups of heroes trying to glom up on a point. So a very reasonable pick. Meanwhile, Zool is the first pick for the Bumbling Bees. Very strong lane presence potential. I wouldn't be too surprised to see him start to set up shop in bottom or any other lane where he seems like where they would think he can get a lot of damage done. By the way, my name is Terrace Baz, bringing to you another exciting game of Chair League, and I'm happy to have you with me, and I hope we all have a good time together. Hope we enjoy a good show full of lots of violence, the heartwarming kind, the one that really pulls at your heartstring with arcane magic or Zool's giant scythe, whatever floats your boat. We're not picky here. The Bumbling Bees supplement their Zool pick with a Muradin. It's very safe, very strong pick. It can eat up a lot of damage dealt out by the Temple Guardians. Meanwhile, the Leftovers select their support for the game, at least the primary one. They're taking Rhaegar. Can really exert some battlefield control on those control points. With the slows and the lightning shields, and there's a very good recipient for those shields, Sonya. Also able to just pump out loads of damage. So that may be the theme for the Leftovers team here. Just let's scoop up everybody we can so that no matter who the Bumbling Bees pick, if we've got some time to do some damage, we're going to do a lot of damage. The Bumbling Bees have started to build a team that can help lock some of that damage out. Stuns from Muradin and roots from Zool. And they don't want to give the Leftovers a chance to get some of that tasty crowd control on their own, so they removed Dahaka from play. Very strong map. Very strong hero for this map. Lots of bushes near the temples to tunnel into. Can be anywhere at an instant and add some of that desperately needed crowd control that they're currently lacking for the moment. But they've got 2 picks left, so we'll see what they decide to pick up on. And Thrall taken off the table for Leftovers. They I guess they feel they've got enough between Rhaegar and Sonya. They may have enough frontline potential and don't want to add him to their team. And I mean, nobody wants to be on the receiving end of a Thrall cannon. Just shooting out Sunderings and Wolves and just damage out the cheeks. That's where the damage comes, out of his cheeks. Not really, it comes from his ferocious hammer. Very late April Fool's joke. Tyrande, the pick for Bumbling Bees, so Mirand assembled. Combo achieved. They can select a hero and just keep them pinned to the ground until the rest of their team rips them apart. So very strong pairing on those two. Even more additions to the crowd control plan. Bumbling Bees eating into their stoppage time, or their, I don't know what the technical name for that is, but eating into their time bank. Clearly deep in thought about who to add to their team, and they wind up going with a double support, Tyrande Tassadar. Depending on what their 5th pick here is, assume he's gearing for force wall, but if they're afraid they're lacking damage, they may just pick up Archon just to get some of that extra damage onto the board. It's a very reasonable play. Uh, so what do the leftovers answer this with? They've got a pretty standard looking team. Nothing too crazy. They've got a couple big sources of damage. They don't have a whole bunch of crowd controls other than a move from Sonya, some slows from Rhaegar. Nothing like we're seeing on the Bumbling Beast team though. So we're not quite sure what they're going for, but they decided to pick up Johanna to add a whole bunch of that clumping people together. If they can time that with Li Ming's orb right, they could be in to deal a great deal of damage in a very short amount of time. I don't think the blind's going to be incredibly relevant here. We don't have a whole lot of auto attacking damage on the Bumbling Bee's side, but if nothing else, it's a great answer to all that crowd control. You can just hit a button and mosey around the map at your leisure. So I certainly agree with the Johanna pick here. I think that's a good selection. Deep in the time bank now. Less than 15 seconds to go for the leftovers. I'm not sure what their fifth selection's gonna be. And it's gonna be Vala just adding another bucket full of damage to the pool. So I'd be very nervous to be the Muradin on the other team if he's aiming to be in the front, which it's most likely he's going to be the case. He's got a Sonya, Vala, and Li Ming to stare down while his team backs him up. But if he can get through that, then he can start breaking apart the other team. So if the fight goes long, I think it's going to favor the leftovers at this point. But if it gets drawn out a bit, then I think Bumbling Bees will have it. If they can get through that first 2 or 3 seconds, they'll endure. And a Greymane to round things out. There's some of that ferocious lethal damage we were waiting to see. I'm very excited to see him in this game. So we'll get everybody queued up, and we'll be live here in just a few moments.
I heed the voice of Elune.
And we are loaded into Sky Temple. On the blue team, Team Leftovers, we've got Mongoose on Rhaegar, Flimsy Muffin on Sonya, High Beat You on Vala, Joyce on Li Ming, and Afridi on Johanna. And against them, the Bumbling Bees on the red team, we've got Asuni on Greymane, Tony Cheese on Muradin, Josh on Zool, the Milkman on Tassadar, and Regulus on Tyrande. We're on Sky Temple, we've got 3 seconds to go, violence is imminent, and here we go.
Go fight. Do whatever it is you do.
Got some posturing towards Vision. Tassadar's going to clearly see that nobody's coming. They're going to take it without incident. It looks like the Leftovers are just happy to set up lanes. Go ahead and get the pecking order established. Johanna gets found out by the owl, but well enough back that they're not going to be in any position to take any damage from it. And so it looks like Bumbling Bees are going with a 4-man rotation from mid to bottom, with Tassadar holding his own up in the top. We'll see if Sonya is ready and aware for this. It looks like she's going to get out just in time, not taking any real damage. So right off the bat, we see 2 very different strategies from each team. We've got the Bumbling Bees in this coordinated rotation going to mid to bottom, trying to catch somebody out. But the Leftovers have stuck their 2 beefiest heroes in those lanes, Johanna in the mid and Sonya in the bottom. So they're not likely to just get caught out. Meanwhile, up at the top, poor Tassadar trying his best to lane against the juggernaut of Rhaegar, Vala, and Li Ming. And, I mean, he's holding his own, hasn't gotten caught out yet, but already we see a fair bit of damage to that structure. So this may be working out in the early game for the side of Team Leftovers. We see the early shrines appear. We've got Rhaegar, for the moment, by himself on the top shrine, and the roaming death ball of Bumbling Bees sending 3 to mid. And I really like this from both teams. They're maintaining a fairly good lane presence. You see every now and then Muradin dash down here to scoop up some experience. Zool's in the bottom, Sonya's at the bottom. We've got just excellent coverage from both teams. This is, if you want a textbook example of how to maximize experience on this map, then this is a very good game to watch. Both teams playing very safe, trying to get everything they can. No team with a clear advantage yet. Bumbling Bees have a slight experience lead, but nothing really to write home about. Although the Leftovers do have a lot of damage on that top structure. One stiff wind could take it out, and I don't think Tassadar is going to be able to stop it on his own. But that said, we've got a strong push coming from Muradin and Jaina on the bottom, so maybe they can. Oh, they get a stun off on Sonya. She's going to take a lot of damage, get rooted, but not quite enough. She's going to hold. Johanna coming down to rotate out, not missing a seconds of experience gain. It's very, very impressive play from both sides. On the side of the Bumbling Bees, that 4-person ball has begun to disperse to try and have a larger, wider presence on the map, and we start to see them go up and help Tassadar. They're gonna zip through Vision, and so Li Ming's gonna be aware and run away. But they do manage to hold on to this building. Siege Giants fall on the side of the Bumbling Bees. No huge damage done. The Leftovers take their camp, their Bruiser camp, maybe a bit early. I'm not. If they're trying to coordinate it with the bottom shrine that's popping shortly, that might have been just might have jumped the gun a little bit. But you know, maybe they're in position. Maybe they said, "We're here. Let's get it done. Let's get a presence somewhere else on the map." Without being in voice comms, it's hard to really know what the plan of the teams are. Shrine spawns in 10 seconds on the bottom. The Leftovers pick their siege camp. Try and get some extra push, extra guns their side when the fighting starts. And they've got a very strong presence on bottom. No No real contest to deal with it yet. We see the Bumbling Bees starting to rotate down to try and deny the full tower, but they've got a lot to plow through, with Johanna just planted firmly in the flood, denying anyone entrance to Sonya's party box in the bottom. Tassadar takes a peek, sees that it's only her. The stormtroopers start rolling in, and the leftovers say, you know what, we did what we wanted to do. You have it. We're gonna go take down Zool. That seems like the thing we want to do. Bumbling Bees trying to go possibly get some experience, knowing this fight is lost, just cutting their losses. Leftovers will finish out the shots on this tower. And so after the second shrine, we see that experience is technically even for the moment, but top and bottom buildings have just so little health. It's just experience waiting to fall, and I wouldn't be surprised if leftovers make a lunge for it just to get that level 10 boost as early as they can. And I think that's what Johanna and Sonya are looking to do. They're smashing down walls, they're just punching the building, and if Bumbling Bees wanted to punish them for it, there's not a lot of support on the way, but they are going to get 10s. 10s are up for the leftovers. Johanna's going to eat an absurd amount of damage, and she's going to fall. And that'll award level 10s to Bumbling Bees. So it was an aggressive move. It was it had some risk to it, and the Bumbling Bees were able to capitalize on that risk and equalize the takedown counter. Meanwhile, we've got three up and top against Muradin. Leftovers just itching to take a building. Can't quite get it yet. Not looking to take any more risks, and the Bumbling Bees in position to punish if they did so. So wise move on both teams. Good plan. See the Bumbling Bees starting to take their bruiser camp up in the top. There's not a whole lot of action going on the board here. Muradin taking quite a bit of damage, but Storm Bolt and a Dwarf Toss, and he's on his merry way. He'll probably be at, I don't know. I was gonna say he may be at full health before this thing spawns, but he should be totally fine. Looks like the contest is going to be down at the bottom. We see again leftovers starting to take the bottom shrine. Top still vacant for the moment, and leftovers might be in a bit of a pickle here, because the entire force of the Bumbling Bees are here, ready to punish these two heroes. Vala looks like she's going to escape. Sonya is not so lucky, and she will fall. Siege camp's trying to help what they can, but not quite enough. Meanwhile, leftovers, knowing where all the Bumbling Bees are, Rhaegar and Li Ming feel very safe to take this top shrine by themselves and maybe grab some vision while they're at it. And so we see a lot of buildings starting to fall. We see the bottom fort's gone for both teams, the top fort's fallen for the Bumbling Bees. Some damage starting to go on the mid forts for each team, so it's still a fairly even game. We've got a very brief talent advantage for the leftovers, but that'll probably disappear before any further fighting happens. Meanwhile, Johanna, kind of out here by herself, pops her iron skin, gets away from all the roots and all the problems, and just calmly walks back to her fort. It's a very, very wise pick against this particular team of the Bumbling Bees. Each team back to full power, posturing on what to do, where to go next. Bumbling Bees don't have a whole lot. They're aware that the leftovers are taking their camp. We see Muradin start to head that way, but backup's not imminently close, and he wisely decides that maybe taking this fight isn't what he wants to do, and they'll surrender the camp to the leftovers. See a bit of a bush forming. Johanna Johanna smelled something funny. She smelled what the Rock was cooking, and it was not pleasant. She wanted no part of that. Camp's pushed in very well on both sides, or for the Bumbling Bees on mid and bottom. This Camp doing a lot of work for the leftovers on top. And the Bumbling Bees respond to the siege camp with their own, and we should be seeing the next set of temples spawn fairly soon here. Doubles 14 for both teams as we hit the 10-minute mark. It's been a very safe game. Only 3 takedowns. No one drastically out of position. Both teams playing very safe, knowing when the advantage is theirs and when they needed to flee. And here's a powerful move from the Bumbling Bees, coming in behind the leftovers, trying to disrupt their team, getting behind Johanna, that big front line, and the teams have flipped. Johanna pops her ultimate, comes in, does a lot of stunning follow, glues everyone in place, and the leftovers just rip the other team apart. Muradin at really low health. Everybody on the leftovers still very strong. Muradin's getting poked. He's so low health, and that slow. Oh, the dwarf toss saves him at the last minute, and the leftovers posture for boss with a 5-3 advantage. And the timing for this could not be better for the leftovers, because they're gonna scoop this up. They're gonna easily get boss, and then the Bumbling Bees have to deal with this while the lasers are up. It's like an all-you-can-eat candy store for the leftovers. They can take their pick of anything on the map, and the Bumbling Bees just have to react. They don't have momentum right now, and they're gonna have to work pretty hard to get it back as the game goes on. Having said that, though, they're not prioritizing a whole lot on boss, just leaving Greymane to deal with it. So that should leave the Bumbling Bees to get bottom without a whole lot of pressure here from the leftovers. So it's a very good response on the side of the Bumbling Bees. The boss didn't really do much except take Greymane out of the fight for a while. And so the end result of that is a bit of an XP bump, but otherwise the team split lasers again. No damage on keeps just yet. Leftovers trying to pull a fast one on Greymane, but the timing wasn't quite right for it. Couldn't catch him. Bala looks like she's gonna try and challenge Greymane with his ability off cooldown, but Bala goes just the wrong way into the entire team of Bumbling Bees and gets obliterated in seconds. And I'm not sure about this call from the leftovers, trying to get siege camp with a 5-4 disadvantage. They're on the run, they disengage, and Bumbling Bee says, "Thanks for the help. We'll collect our winnings and move on." And so just like that, now map controls in favor of the Bumbling Bees. They've got the siege camp on the form of leftovers. They're free at any time to take their own bruisers, as well as their own siege. And the leftovers are just having to play cleanup. But having said that, here comes 4 of them trying to repeat the punishment that was dealt them just a moment ago. Big damage coming out against Muradin. Everybody just calmly parked in the Starfall. Sonya doing a lot of damage. Rhaegar at low health. Johanna at low health. It looks like the Bumbling Bees have the momentum. They have the power. Can they get the takedowns? Johanna falls. Bala desperately trying to stop people. Burns her ultimate. Rhaegar falls. Sonya falls. It's a 3 for nothing, but it's not over yet. Bala's eating the last of the damage, and she only manages to save Li Ming using her ultimate. So what a tremendous advantage for the Bumbling Bees. Just dominating the board, getting all kinds of damage on these structures. Temples are going to spawn in 20 seconds, and just then will the team of the leftovers start spawning. So they'll be able to do as much damage as they want here. Li Ming is good for damage output, but it's not amazing at closing the deal without some help and some stuns and some slows. In fact, the Bumbling Bees scooping up the Bruiser camp. They say, well, tell us no, come out and stop us, and the leftovers aren't in a position to do that. So excellent use of the advantage they obtained. They got a lot of structures, a lot of damage on the structures. They stole a camp, and they're getting what's most likely the full complement of lasers from the mid shrine. And the leftovers just have a lot of problems to deal with right now. They should take a note from the Bumbling Bees page book, and they have to make a stab at changing the game, and that's what they aim to do. Johanna initiating with her ultimate, a lot of damage coming out from Zulz. Johanna or Sonya rather, takes a bunch of damage. Rhaegar's down. It's a 2-0 in favor of the Bumbling Bees, but again, they're not over yet. Johanna's gonna fall. Just Vala and Li Ming trying to get away from that Muradin. A lot of damage coming out. Vala vaults away at the last second, and it looks like they're gonna get away. And so the net result of all that is 30-second power play on the time of Bumbling Bees, the destruction of a keep in mid, and they're looking for more. They're balling up here in bottom, trying to close this out before they give the leftovers a chance to get back in this. Li Ming doing a good job, just throwing damage out, being safe. If she were to suffer a takedown now, that would put the leftovers in a really bad shape. So it's very important that they stay upright and group together. The Bumbling Bees continue their bullying, taking the siege camp on the side of the leftovers. The leftovers in a tight 5-man group, just holding together, trying to catch somebody out of position, see if they can find a way back into this game. They discouraged. They rotate back to try and clean up the siege camp. Meanwhile, the Bumbling Bees come storming in. Muradin leading the charge. Starfall goes down. Force Wall trying to zone everybody out. Mongoose taking a lot of damage. Can Ancestral himself, and he goes down. Vala keeps that from turning into a colossal disaster, stunning everybody, just giving them enough time to get away. And now this is a very rough spot for the leftovers. They got one keep remaining. If the Bumbling Bees were to take both shrines and hold them, that would be... If it's not, it's probably not lethal with all the health still up on the structures, but it would certainly leave them with very few defenses left. And now they have to send 3 different answers to this. They have to answer boss, they have to answer both of the shrines, and for 15 seconds they have to do this without Rhaegar. So the safe play here is just to deal with boss. It's a fight you know you can win. A boss isn't going to take you out. And if left alone, it would just destroy the core on its own. Bumbling Bees are content with that. Owl shows them exactly where all the leftovers are. Nobody en route. So the boss is going to get through, won't crack the shields, but that's not what the boss was for. The boss was just to buy the bees enough time to safely take both these shrines. And we see the core on the side of leftovers starting to fall. I don't think there's enough lasers to be lethal, but I might be wrong on this. Core's down to 33%, 21-17. A lot of damage coming in, and Muradin sitting here just punching the thing to death. And that's gonna do it.
Is victorious.
And that was a game that if you haven't seen a lot of Heroes of the Storm, there were a lot of neat things to watch in that game. The way that the bees rotated at the beginning, the way they